Now, what else do you want from me?
I want to chit chat about all the things Beth Allyn has to say, or
I don't have anything anymore.
So this is unscripted and super casual. We can go long, we go short, whatever you want. So you're on my 114th episode of Brett's with Friends, episode Beth Allyn.
Ooh, I should have bought some kind of confetti.
I'll put confetti on right now. We'll do like a seed confetti. We'll do confetti. So thanks for coming on the show, first of all.
You're welcome.
And so
thanks for asking me.
This is gonna be so much fun. I haven't seen you. This is the only way I can.
I know. Where are you right now? In Oregon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to get out.
Chilly up there, huh?
No, it's been hot. It's been hot.
Yeah, it's hot here.
Yeah. What's the temperature there now?
Right now it's not bad, but it's been humid. So, I mean, I'm wearing shorts at night.
Yeah, that's Venice,
California. We don't do that. I don't do that. Not on the bike. Not really. Not at night.
Yeah. Well, let's go for a back. Let's get into the back and the now and the future of Beth Allyn. You are a long time Venice Beach resident. Do you like it when people say Venice or Venice Beach?
I know I don't really have an opinion, but I do know some people have opinions on it. But I think when I first moved here, I said Venice Beach, but after I've lived here a while, I just said Venice.
Okay, and what brought you to Venice Beach? How long you been there?
I was born on Long Island, New York in the 60s, and my family kidnapped me and took me to Kentucky. And I really wasn't very happy there. I was miserable my whole adolescence there. And when I was 24, I had an uncle that lived out in Southern California, and I sent him a said, hey, can you help me? Can I get a place to stay while I set up? And he let me stay there for 6 weeks. And me and the friend that we came here, we rented, you remember Rent a Heap Cheap?
Rent a Heap Cheap.
Rent a Heap Cheap.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
Oh, they were bad cars, but you could rent them for pennies, literally pennies. So we had rented this car and we were driving around. It was an embarrassment, but I remember driving through Venice, and it just struck me then. And I even remember passing the street I live on that very first day, and I really had wanted to live here. So,
what year was this?
1985.
Okie dokie. All right. And now, when you first landed there, you're drawn to the place. And did you live there right away, or did you have an offshoot? Did you land in Venice proper?
No, it took me a minute. I got an apartment up on Casio up on La Cienega, so it's West LA. And I think we were there 3 months. And I realized if I stayed there, I wasn't going to stay in California because I just felt like it was a concrete jungle. It was terrible. So every weekend we would ride our bikes down here to Venice until we found an apartment. And then,
isn't it funny how people would move all the way to LA and not live on the coastline?
I don't understand it either.
I just noticed when I was just back there living for a little bit, I was in, some people, oddly enough, still think I live in Venice, but Gregory Cruz gave me an honorary Venice life membership. He was like, "You'll always be a Venetian," but it's like what brings you to Venice? Like how does it swamp you in? Like I had a little detour, and then because I was in hotel rooms. Then me and my buddy moved to Venice on Westminster, the big building on Westminster across from the dog park, and we had the top floor, which was amazing.
That's a great building.
Yeah, our rent was $875.
Yeah, mine was $525 when I moved in here.
It was a spiral staircase that went up to the second level. It was really a treat as far as but I was just over in Hollywood staying over there, and I'm not a Hollywood guy. I don't think I couldn't handle it right near the Hollywood Bowl, man. It's just so much energy.
Yeah. Well, even this, on a busy Saturday afternoon out here, this can be, sometimes you have to take a step back and just not participate because it can be a little much. There's a lot of people out there some days. So the general, but I think that
I'm sorry.
Huh?
What's that noise?
What noise?
Oh, there's a weird little sound that happened. That right there.
Probably just my battery. I'm telling you, this computer is.
Is the battery gonna go, or do we got?
No, I got it plugged in.
Okay. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
No, I was saying that you said, how do people get here? I find that a lot of people that are not from here are, especially if they stay, they're really drawn. Obviously, the creatives come here a lot because there's a lot of energy here for us. But, otherwise, there's a lot of water people that come here. Although I don't think I used to have some neighbors. We have a great breakout here. Most of them drive somewhere else.
Breakwater.
Well, I mean, I'm over here by Navy.
Yeah. But you're talking about the breakwater.
Well, no, just there's a break right here. This is where the POP pier was.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Tower 26. There's a good break here.
Yeah.
But a lot of them would want to drive someplace else. And I don't want to drive at any place, much less someplace else.
When's the last time you've ridden in a car?
I was in Kentucky a couple weeks ago. So, I mean, did I drive there? No, but I was in a car. And I get in a car.
Do me a favor, do me a favor, tip your screen like that, so we got more of your face and less of the. There you go. There you go.
Okay.
Beautiful. So there's a lot I want to kind of cover because you're Venetian through and through. Dare I say, even the mayor of Venice, which I know there are like claim to be that.
There are quite a few that are well deserving of it, and they can have the job.
Because if they can do it, can they do it? Make it even better?
All of them.
So when you landed in '85, okay, this is gonna be the obvious question: how much have you seen it change, or is it always the same?
Well, I can't get rent for $525 again.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, that's an airplane. For one thing, I remember when I moved here, you never saw really nice cars here. I worked up in Beverly Hills and all the Ferraris and all of them were up there. Now down here, there are crazy expensive cars everywhere. Crazy expensive. And, it's just little things like, I can't even fathom what a $5 million house would have looked like then. And now there's a house on oceanfront for 15 million. So the things that have changed is that. I mean, which means all the restaurants are expensive. The groceries are expensive. So it's hard. But, I think when I was younger, I was more into that sort of stuff. Like I wanted to go to the bars and I wanted to go to the newest restaurant and all that sort. Now I don't really care. I want to go outside and watch a sunset every night. So while I think Venice has changed a lot, it really hasn't changed much at all in many regards because that beach is still there for everybody, which I think is an important thing because I did grow up on Long Island. And I remember as a kid there, the privatization of the beaches. So you could only go on public beaches unless you lived at the beach, and they would give you some kind of a wristband you had to wear when you go down to the beach. And if you didn't have that, you had to get off the beach.
Huh.
Section of the beach.
That's weird. Where was that?
Long Island.
Oh,
like 1970.
Wow, that's kind of. I think they're having feedback because of when I talk, there's a feedback sound. Not
From me?
No, there's me. I don't know. You say something.
Okay, what do you want me to say?
That's fine. Okay, maybe that's a little sound that just happens. Okay, hopefully. So when you were so what made you? I mean, obviously, obviously, I got a few different questions, so I want to ask them in sequence a little bit. But like, what would you have liked to have known that you wish you knew before you moved to Venice that you now know now?
Well, I wouldn't have spent all the money on restaurants and lattes. I would have saved every penny I had and bought a house. But who thought that real estate was going at that time, that real estate was going to be like that, like it is now?
When did the bubble? I have a date that I think that the bubble burst in Venice. What date was that for you? Financially, like when the bottom sort of fell out and everybody.
I think there were a couple times. I think the most recent one was what is it, 08? but before that it was like mid late 90s. And I know even when I got here in 85, that really was kind of almost a little too late for some places because I didn't have enough of that kind of down payment. But that said, I did look a few times and there were a few places, had I been a little more thrifty, I probably could have swung something. But that's spilled milk.
Yeah, it's just curious. It's like the the timeline of things,
Yeah,
So
but that's when I remember, really there was a thing right around like the right behind me when I first moved on the street. This was a big Jewish neighborhood, right? As a matter of fact, the Nadine, which is the building right over here, the family that originally bought it in the 40s, what they did is they helped house Holocaust survivors when they came to the United States. So there were a lot of elderly Jews that lived in the neighborhood. One of the things was a kosher nursing home across the way. It was a little bitty bungalow. And perhaps you remember a movie, Falling Down with Kirk Douglas.
Yep.
Okay, so he comes down to Venice. And the house he came down to was the house across the way from me.
Mm-hmm.
And after they got done filming it, they left the building. They kind of abandoned it. And I think that was one of the first times that actually I had the real overwhelmingness with homelessness because the building became like a shooting gallery. All the heroin users used to go in it. And it got overwhelming for quite a while. And that was, but then it got sold. And then it got big houses built there. Big houses.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Different than the other neighbors.
So the people that went and moved there, the Bohemians, the artists, the gypsies, the pirates, the lost souls that migrated to Venice and to be creatives or find their voice. We had like a time to do that, and it was really awesome. And it was really, people were spending money, people were buying art, people were doing things. This is before basically 2008. Right. And we sort of had the best of the best times, I think. Well, and I lived on the walkway street with a house with two garages in the yard. I had the best deal. I think I was paying $13.50 for the place, which is ridiculous. But we didn't really hang out too much when I was around that, I don't think. But no. Yeah, we had fires.
I'll tell you what when I started knowing you.
Oh, nice. When?
It's when I made the Venice sign. So when I made that light for the front of my bike, it changed my whole experience in Venice.
What year was that?
I made it in 2010.
Okay.
I went on a yoga teacher retreat with Brian Kess.
Brian Kess.
Yep.
I used to do yoga. I used to do yoga at his place.
Oh, I loved it. And I had an epiphany there. And when I came back, I really started. That's when the idea for the sign came. And I used to go sit under the Venice sign over here at Windward, and I would look up at it and I would try to say, how do I capture this? And then that's when I met you. Right after I did it, it got noticed right away.
Has the Venice sign been up since 2010?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
The one in Windward was in 2007. That sign got put up in 2007.
Oh wow!
Todd Van Hoffman and the Chamber. I think Daniel. I never remember how to say his name. Sakow. Sorry. Daniel.
Something.
Okay, but I know that they were all involved in the reinvigoration of that sign, and then I got inspired by it.
That was a nice little bow to put on Venice, and it gives people an outlet to,
I love it.
Shoot pictures at, say I was there, iconic. It's like the Hollywood sign.
Yeah, although, see, I remember I did an interview years ago with somebody else, and one of the things I told them when I was staring up at that sign that really occurred to me about it is it had swag because it hangs in such a fashion. And I think that it's not even just the sign, it's everything about the sign that gives Venice, it says Venice to me. And I think to a lot of people, when it lights up, it's really special. I mean, personally, I like it mostly just white, but because that's iconic. That's what it originally was. But I know
it is cute when they light it up for Christmas. And
yeah, I know. And I've lit my sign now, lights up too with rainbows. And but I like the simplicity of it so much, and against the back, if you have a great sunset back there on the ocean, I mean, it's give me a really great image.
So that whole street's pretty iconic because you got like Graham used to live there with Angelica
Mm-hmm.
and have their studio, and I got to
Mm-hmm.
be friends with Angelica for a little bit before she moved. I don't want to say where she moved to, but she moved out of Venice. Was
Mm-hmm.
and the bar that's across from that compound that they built,
Townhouse.
townhouse. Um, did that ever like? Were you ever in that area partying at the townhouse back in the day?
I lived down there, but I had a bad experience at the townhouse when I first moved here. So I kind of shied away. It was not really my cup of tea after that.
It's
Um,
it's so weird because there's so many amazing places that were on that block.
mhm.
And you got Bell's or Bill's place, or Larry's place. You got that there now, the edge of the street. And
Yeah, I know. I'm not a big fan of it.
why?
Well, for one thing, it encroaches upon the public right of way with the outdoor seating. And it really obscures, like as a bicyclist, especially with deliveries and things coming up windward now is quite problematic sometimes because that his outdoor patio really is a building. It's not, it's a built structure, and it just
It
it
used to
just
not be. It used to not be like that.
no.
You
See,
could ride
that's
your skateboard up there.
pandemic change, though.
Well, that's indicative of like so many things that have happened in Venice. That's one of the reasons why I want to talk to you. But besides, I haven't talked to you in a while. But like,
I
it's
know I haven't talked to you in a while.
good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Um, the structure and the landscape has changed, and there's so much. I don't want to say conflict, but so much like, is it just built like that into the system of being in Venice or any beach town where it gets popular, or is it just Venice in particular? Because every inch has now like really been like Abbot Kinney. I mean, that place.
Tell me, what locals do you know that really go to Abbot Kinney now, unless they have a lot of money?
I don't. I'm so out of the loop right now that I don't even know who the fuck's going over there. But
It's
I did like if you go over there. I mean, I did go to the recently. I did go there, and I almost did some artwork outside of this place. But I was like, it's just not. I don't want to. I don't know. It's you got to feel it out. But I mean, people were generally the store owners. I went to get my
mm-hmm.
eye checked real quick, and I just want to make sure that that eye place that is used to be is really cute there, and they were really nice. People are nice. I mean, it is. But back in the day, we used to go to Howl's. We used to go to Wabi-Sabi. We said,
Hell, I was here before it was Hal's. I was here when it was the Merchant of Venice. And when Hal's came in, I was really upset beginning because I loved the Merchant of Venice was the first place as a single woman I felt comfortable going into. And then they took it and put it Hal's into me, which was an upscale, gentrified version. Just which is the interesting thing, like you're talking about, is that I guess gentrification or the changing of the guard does always happen. In Venice, the interesting thing though is that you have some really generational families that live here, and their roots run much deeper than I think you would find in other places. Families literally got here in 1900 or even before, late 1800s. Like the Reeses.
were those mostly white families or black or Mexican,
I
Latino?
don't really know many white families that are that deep, except with the exception of maybe the Lennons, the Lennon family.
Huh?
But most of the people that I know are generationally deep or people of color.
Yeah, that seems to be the case.
Mm-hmm. And in their families, they held on to whatever little piece of property they could, and they have fought to keep it.
Fuck yeah, they did. Fuck yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
did.
mean,
They
that's
should.
like
Fucking shouldn't
the
even
whole
give
thing.
fucking. Nobody should even give them an argument for a second.
And they're still trying to take the shit.
Well,
I mean,
that's a big. That's not just because of any color
no,
or.
I know.
They're just
It's
gonna.
the
They're just
value of
gonna,
the real estate. Yes.
oh, what's a family that got paid all that money for that beachside property? I thought it was in Long Beach or something like that.
The Bruce family, Bruce's Beach, or no, you're talking about down in South Bay,
Maybe
Manhattan Beach.
Yeah.
That was the Bruce family that and they actually sold it back to the city.
Really?
Yeah, just recently.
Why?
I'm sure there's a lot of people involved and everybody wants their payout, which is something that one of the problems that happened in Venice with some family. What? Well, I'm on the phone. Sorry.
It's all good.
Um, um, when there's too many people involved, you have to sell.
So did they get?
You can't just every.
So were they able to? Okay, so they got paid a sum of money for the property. Did they make money off of? Were they able to generate like a giant percentage of what they were paid and then what they sold it for? Like, were they able to make lots?
What I heard originally was they were like, yeah, they made money. They got a lot of money. I'm doing a video chat with my friend.
Who's that? It's all good. This is unscripted. This isn't Hollywood. This is a
yeah, I know.
This is a casual.
Just so you know, it did say my internet, but it's okay right now, so I hope we're good.
Yeah, we're good. You're not jumping or chunking or anything.
Okay.
Not now. In the beginning, you were a little bit, but now it's
Okay.
smooth. But and that echo's gone. But I mean, it's such a I have such a love hate relationship with LA, because it's very grueling. It can be very taxing on your emotionality, your pocketbook, all these different things, these dynamics of what you're doing. What are you wanting to do there? What are you wanting to get out of it? How's the temperature now these days with Venice? But
I think most everybody I know wants to stay as long as they can. I know I do. That being said, I also know that there may come a time where I'm not going to be able to,
yeah,
for whatever reason. I don't know. There could be an earthquake. There's a zillion things that can happen. That would change the direction. Hold on? Will you buy me something? Buy me some beer.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
We'll do this. We'll do it. I'll use this. We're going to keep this in the video, but I'm going to promote my artwork for a second. I'm going to do a feature called the artwork of the episode, or like I'm presenting this a new artwork for the episode. So we'll put that on right here while you're doing it.
Okay. Yeah, I cut that part out just so.
No, it'll be fun. I'll overlay the image of the thing on it, so it'll be fun. All this is gold. Buying beer, we got to keep that in. That's Venice.
Yeah, because you actually know that I'm a big fan of a 30-pack of Ducati.
Really? Yeah, Ducati's go down. It's a good, honest.
Yeah, it's a good, honest beer, and I think it's the beer of Venice. I mean, most places you go, somebody's going to have a Ducati. Even in the bars nowadays, they're selling them. Of course, I'm paying $5 or $6 for a can, but
yeah. So, okay, I don't want to pass up thoughts that we want to get to, because we're getting in a very specific area about Venice Beach, California. Because if one person like Snapchat didn't buy that building, somebody else would have done it as well. So what are with the Googles and the Snapchat, I don't even know if it exists anymore, but there is like controversy because you got these young CEOs that are doing these things. Rose is completely fucking changed, and I guess it's an obtuse question, but do you like it? Is it just par for course? Is it just the state of way things move? It sounds like it's been doing that since 2008. Before that, and that's only 2008 to now is 15 years, something like that. Yeah. It was obviously you love it. I don't want to keep on rambling, but it's like what are your thoughts on stuff like that?
it's like, the fact is, it's like a freight train. I can't stop it. There's really nothing I can do now. I thought it was interesting though when you said, well, if they didn't do it, somebody else would. And somebody I know just said that to me the other day. they were doing something and I was kind of questioning like their motive for doing it. And they said, well, if I don't do it, somebody else will. And I thought, well, that may be true, but that doesn't make it right, you know? So I know that Snapchat, though, I feel like that everything about Snapchat was interesting, as you remember. I thought that they were really buying up a lot of real estate for a very intended purpose. And I think that they did drive they definitely drove the rents up. You know, it definitely, once they were here, there were a lot of these apartments turned into live workspaces, you know, so they were no longer apartments. You know, it was like a warehouse for their employees. You know, and they were charging them double whatever the prior tenant was paying. So I do think Snapchat was unique. I don't know if anybody else would have had the kind of plan they had, which again, I feel like they intentionally bought a lot of real estate because that was always part of their plan.
Okay, and so that goes into Google buying up the Venice. Wasn't the art? What was the artist art? What did Google do?
Talking about the Venice Art Walk with the Venice Family Clinic, and now they own it, even though for decades that was a community event, and you would go into the artists' homes, and it was a very community-oriented event. But once Google got involved, now it goes on the campus, and you have to pay to get in it, and you know it's like they exclude everybody except those that have money. You know, so that's what, like the bars charging, you know, $20 for a cocktail. They know a lot of people aren't going to pay that $20, but they only want the people that can.
It's a deliberate thing to upscale the cost, not only because they're greedy motherfuckers, but and they're Google, they don't need the money. They can just do fucking for free. But like it cuts out the riffraff.
Yes, but it doesn't really.
Is that elitism?
It's truly, I mean, yeah.
You came here to this place that for the artists, and you like that to be creativity, but now you completely it's almost like an oxymoron.
It is, although the boardwalk still has a lot of its rawness, which I appreciate. You know, I don't go away from the boardwalk that often in any given week. And I got to move a little bit. Sorry.
Yeah, I like it.
The sun is just shining in my eye. Really,
the sun's really getting every view is a great view. It's got like nice little. You got a beautiful garden there.
Nice garden.
So okay, so you brought up the boardwalk. Let's talk about the boardwalk. Let's do this. Where I spent 10 years selling artwork on that damn thing.
It's a hustle out there. I don't know how you did it for 10 years.
I don't know how. I got the wrinkles on the back of my neck. It looks like Lance Henriksen's neck.
Mm-hmm.
It's like just from being beaten. We didn't have canopies and stuff like that. But,
right, because all through the years they've changed the laws. Sometimes you could have umbrellas, sometimes you couldn't. Sometimes it had to have a cross on it. Did you sell it on there when they had to have crosses?
Crosses.
Yeah, any artwork that was made down on that boardwalk, probably in the 90s, had to have a cross. So they were still able to sell jewelry. So if you bought a piece of jewelry, somebody would usually, believe this or not, this is true.
Why do I not look on my face or something? I'm following you, but
this is American.
I just was thinking about the date of that. That was like, was that 2008?
Oh, I think it's before that.
Okay.
And you know who I'll ask? Greg Cruz. He might remember because he remembers everything.
Yeah. It is nice to see that there are the gatekeepers of Venice still. Like you know, when Sponto passed away, which I think actually was in 2008 or 2009 or something like that.
Yeah, he was still open when Obama got elected because LA Times, that's where I voted, and LA Times took a picture of me coming out of there just after I voted for Obama.
Yeah, I can't paint Obama.
What was that? Oh, wait a minute. That was 04 and 08, right?
I forget, it's a blur. That's right before the shit started hitting the fan.
Yeah, it is.
Those are good times. Obama was about to be elected. Everyone
we were hopeful.
I was so happy. I was over in the canals doing phone calls with everybody. to promote
Oh,
to
for Democrat, I went over, I think I was over there one time for one of those Democratic,
campaign, baby. I never campaign.
uh,
I hate politics.
well, he gave us hope.
Can't he just run again?
No, against the Constitution. Well, or the amendment twice. That's all, twice. He could be vice president though, but I doubt he'd want to do that. So,
Well, Michelle would win easy.
but he could also be a Supreme Court justice.
That would be dope. We just need the Obama kick that we need his juice. We need that that you could hear and understand what the fuck he's saying.
He's a great orator, and he really was able to really inspire people to like strive for something better. Now, everybody wants to buy the dollar.
Who is his running mate, or not his running mate, but the guy they ran against?
John McCain.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And Sarah Palin. Remember, she could see Russia from her back door.
Yeah, she can see my asshole from her phone. Anyways.
Well, say hi to Barbara. She's in Alaska. Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Barbara. How's Russia look? So we kind of got off topic a second. What were we talking about a second ago?
We were talking about how the boardwalk had changed.
The date that I think that I really gotta say it, because Sponto was a friend, and he was a very community-based guy. Everybody's
he was
character, but when I drove up and saw Artie outside his gallery, and I said, "Hey, Artie," it's like I was riding back from my girlfriend's house at the time when I used to be able to have a fucking. I'm dateable still, but I'm just getting out of my muck. But like it's I drove an Artie. You're an Artie. Yeah. Muck. Muck. Does that say Muck or what?
Yeah, I love Muck. It's one of her original t-shirts.
It's good. I love Muck. She was on the pod one time. Very, very, you gotta slide with her. She's a very hard interview. She had somebody, anyways.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But when Sponto passed, I feel like Artie was out there with the RIP they put on the window. It's almost like that time. I think my father had passed during that time recently before that. So, but like that whole, like, I think that was a real, like, the death of, like, things changed after that date. It seems like in Venice.
Well, there was still, there was another art gallery that was down here called Voda.
Voda?
Yeah, Boca. That's what she called it. So it was right next to the waterfront. And I actually, when I came back from teacher training with Brian Kess, I taught a donation yoga class right down here around all her art. But I think her doors closed about 2011. But yeah, we don't really have any art galleries on the boardwalk anymore.
Yeah, there used to be a Rico gallery off of Main Street. There
are some really good art. There are a few good artists that have come back down here again since the pandemic. And I still see one of my favorite is Scotty Todd. So the boardwalk, that has been a bad thing for the board. And even music, you have to know live music. If there's an amplifier, everyone that isn't at the event hates it.
Yeah, it is a fickle crowd.
Yeah.
It's but that's part of the spice, isn't it?
Well, it used to be. I mean, but nowadays people don't like the noise.
How are you live right off the boardwalk. How's that noise affecting you? You don't mind? You don't care?
Well, it's a little, when the waterfront reopened, the new waterfront.
Let's talk about the waterfront too. After the answer to this question, we'll talk about the waterfront.
But when they reopened, I mean, all these years, I always heard the band that played in front of the waterfront.
You liked it? It was never bothersome to you? You didn't care?
Never bothered me.
All right.
But that said, I know that I had neighbors in this neighborhood that it did bother, but it never bothered me. When the new waterfront opened, they're busy. And on Saturday afternoon, there's like almost like a disco in there. So it's not live music. It's, like techno house. And they were really and some of my neighbors in my building were having some problems with it, because it was loud. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you could feel the sound wave. So, but they worked with us. It seems they've turned it down.
Do you like the waterfront now?
Okay, yeah. I mean, he's been, as far as being a neighbor, he's been pretty decent.
Do you ever go down there and hang out there now?
Well, he does a little neighbors night for us.
Didn't he have like a Tuesday pancake thing or something?
Now it's like a dinner, drinks and dinner.
Free?
One night a week. Yeah,
Free.
one night a month. Yeah.
Do you have to show them your like residential pass or something like that?
Yeah, your ID.
What's that like?
It's been great, although the last few months I noticed that there are a lot of people whom I don't know, and I was just starting to feel like, now it's looking like more like just a marketing gig rather than a thank you. Does that make sense?
It's always got to be like a win. It's got to be you give, you take, you win, you win. It's a pitter patter because
yeah, but
at least
we're not taking. Yeah, but we're not taking. We're dealing with.
You're gonna outlive. You're gonna out.
And I actually did.
I'm sorry. What I cut you off. Sorry.
No, I think they're going to keep that. I think they signed a very long lease. That lease may be a lot longer than I'm going to live. I haven't. I've heard how much money they're making. They're not letting it go. They have a liquor license now.
Oh shit! But how much are
you
they?
Go there and have a full drink. $25. Well, I don't know. They didn't. They used to. That's the crazy thing with the pandemic. Remember when everything started opening up? Happy hours disappeared.
Yeah.
Now they have a happy hour. So you can go. I think they have like I think it's a 2-for-1, like from 3 to 6, Monday through Thursday, something like that. So you can get 2 beers then for $10 instead of one for 10.
Okay. That was a little
$10 for a beer.
For the waterfront. Well, we should put video of it and like that long 20 to 30-minute line to get in there. I feel when I go past that line, when I go past that line, I feel really old.
You should. I look at it outside my window. I see all these beautiful young people, and I'm like, oh my god. And they're all dressed.
You don't know. Nice. You don't know you don't know what you have.
I know.
Well, youth is wasted on the young.
Yeah, I doubt it. I had fun.
We're not.
I had fun.
So we're not dead. All right. So that's good.
Yeah, no, I'm still having fun.
This is what happens when you have a midlife crisis: is you begin a podcast.
Well, it's a good way to start recording your interest.
Yeah, well, it's also each show is about
because we're talking about the things that you're interested in.
Well, these are because also that you're good at answering, though. It's about a subject matter that you're very deep in your heart. So it's
of course.
I was gonna start asking you questions about geometry and physics.
Okay, I appreciate that because I'd have to pull out a book.
Well, I want to know it's just your perspective on so the First Baptist Church was saved, and so that was a big hoodoo to get that done.
Yeah, but timing is everything with that one.
Talk to me about
opinion. Well, because we were consistent and we came out there every week and we left remnants of who we were and what our purpose was. People knew about it, even though we weren't getting a lot of support, right? Because it was still only about 12, anywhere from 6 to 2 dozen of us at any time that would be out there. And then the pandemic happened and George Floyd happened. And nobody knew where else to go to protest except the church. And it really drew a lot of attention. And I think once that happened, that's when that Mike Bonning got the Black Lives Matter painted on the street and really worked to help save the church, because before that, he was not helping. We did not know, we were all out there really basically kumbayaing it, trying to visualize how this was going to happen and believing in our hearts it had to happen. But, even in that, the church is saved, and the Santa Monica Community Housing Corporation, I think is the name of it. They're the ones that are going to say, renovate the property. And as far as I understand, that the actual church itself, which is the big building, is going to be some kind of community resource center with some kind of congregational offerings. I'm just not sure what. And then the rest of the properties, because it's 5 other lots, are going to be housing. It's a big deal.
Yeah. It made major news stories and stuff like that. But it should
Really?
be, it's a fucking historic landmark, right?
Yeah, but I mean, they took grief. I took a lot of personal grief. A lot of people thought I was a very foolish person. And they just didn't really understand why I was committed to helping something happen, you know.
Well,
And now I'm still not sure a lot of people really get it. But that's because it's not their church. It's not their history. Um, but that's important to me. And your history is important to me.
oh,
What happened in Venice is important. I want people to know what happened, that the families of former slaves somehow were able to buy property in a red zoned area, and then they then took the deeds to those properties to buy a church for their community. I mean, these were very poor people.
yeah, this took a lot of fucking effort, like to get that done. And it's even like the pioneering days of like, when people would go strike, it was open range on if you could go stake territory, be it financial or just being out there and building a farm there and having your 20 kids, but even that didn't work out for some of those guys because they get the Indians, there's lots of stories about that situation. But it's they're working really hard to even have the scratch to do that. And then even the Bruce family having to
eminent domain, they got it stolen.
yeah, it's what the white man did to the colonials, to the Indians. And then there's also Mexico, which San Diego should actually be part of Mexico. If you've ever been to San Diego, it's exactly
I think that we're going to get into some really gray area in this country, because there's a large portion of this country that there are many people believe that is not part of this country. So,
well, even I growing up, like
we'll see what happens.
Like people want to split California. Do you think splitting California is a good idea? In half, making 2 Californias?
No, I'm not. I mean, I think that
Along
we have
that
to
fault
figure
line?
out ways to get along, not how to split it.
It might
I don't. Yeah, I remember it was going to be the ego and the super ego. They were breaking it up like in a Freudian kind of way, with Southern California obviously being the id,
which I don't know, like,
or the ego. I don't know. It could be the ego. I'd have to look at.
It's definitely the ego, because there's a lot of
Yeah, but what would be the id then?
I don't know, but
what would be the id? Northern California, like Eureka?
No, more like San Jose.
San Francisco ain't the id, although it might be now. I hear it. San Jose isn't the id.
Well, San Francisco.
But I remember some political cartoons of that.
Do tell
What'd you say? You broke up.
Yeah, it's kind of coming in and out a little bit, but okay. Well, San Francisco is a that's a big nut to swallow there, because that's like because I last went through there and I got off gonna try to get a hotel room, and then I went right back on the on ramp, which luckily they make that so you can just jump on and jump right on, or jump off and jump back on. But like, I mean, I don't even know what kind of world that is over there. The amount of money you must have to spend on the street every time you walk out your fucking front door is easily gotta be, you're spending $300 a day.
In the hundreds, I imagine.
I would.
Yeah.
You're doing lunches. You're doing a lunch. I can't even. What is it? Well, maybe I'll do some research. How much does a macchiato cost in San Francisco?
They
It might be,
probably do have a
might be
surcharge.
intelligentsia prices.
I don't know. I don't go out for although I did go out for a latte yesterday, but my friends treated me. I don't go out for that stuff anymore.
But like, would you ever pay $8 for a cup of coffee?
That way I can have fun otherwise. Huh?
Would you ever pay $8 for a cup?
Oh, I barely drink coffee now. I don't even drink it in the morning anymore.
Um,
Now
I
I just drink tea in the morning.
I got to be honest. I went to Intelligentsia back in the day a few times, and I loved the bartenders with the there's a really cute redhead. She had like a star embedded into her arm. You know, everyone was like super hipster. Like she had like a thing where it was a star, is like a scarf
Yeah.
thing. Or it's actually something embedded it. It was like these guys were out of like, I guess, I mean, they're mixologists or baristas or hardcore, but like, and that coffee was fucking good. I do gotta admit, when you watch them make coffee in front of you,
It was good. I admit it was the best coffee.
but I can, you know, if
You
you
can buy those beans.
yeah, you can buy those beans to do it yourself. But part of it was the look and the experience of it, which is what people are paying
I know.
to have when they
I
do
liked it.
things. So how do you see
Yeah, when they first came to the neighborhood, they were nice.
are they not they're not
How do
nice?
I what?
Are they not nice anymore?
Oh, I don't know. I don't go in there. They were always nice. I haven't been in there
Yeah,
long.
I
But
always
since
have a
the
good time.
pandemic, I
Well,
mean,
also you get to socialize in the line as well. You know, the whole line to get your coffee
okay.
was a social
Well,
experience.
that's why I go to the MDS, $1 Million Steps, and we socialize every night at sunset, and we all bring
Yeah,
our own little whatever, and
I like that.
we only have one rule.
I might have to
One
pull a picture up
rule.
and put that. Yeah,
Yeah, but there's one rule there. Don't block the view.
exactly.
That's it. Other than that, it's
So
the best place.
okay, so we haven't even touched on the hot topic of like homelessness in Venice. I know it's a negative, but we got to talk about it. I got
Mhm.
somebody who's you've been there for a long time. Have you seen it any worse or any better? Or is it getting better now?
The pandemic was terrible. So if I'm using that as the benchmark, it's better.
That was the worst of it.
That was the worst. I mean, that being said, I remember the way I got the nickname Ms. Venice was when I first made the bike. I would ride down the boardwalk late at night because I was dating a guy that lived at the other end of Venice. And so I was coming back late at night. And there was a gauntlet of homeless people on the boardwalk. And that was like 2011, right? Winter of 2011. And they started calling me Ms. Venice. They would yell out at me, right? And that's how I got that nickname. That year, I don't know if you remember, but they painted a white line on the boardwalk. So anybody after midnight, nobody could be west of that white line. Do you remember this?
Yes.
That was a bad year. That was 2011. So that, and then they were trying to deal with, they were changing some rules. So there was like, even as a bicyclist, if I was at the cops would say things to us sometimes if we were out there after midnight, like get in, you're not supposed to be out here. It's like this is our park. But so that was 2011. That was bad. The Israel 11, that's right by where I live, before they renovated it recently. For years, there was an encampment in that parking lot every night, and they were out there. I remember calling LAPD, begging somebody to please come, but I was on hold for 45 minutes. But it was a disaster. I mean, it really was a disaster over there. And then the pandemic is another bad time. So right now, what's happening? There's a lot of dangerous people out here. So I don't think the problem is necessarily bigger down here, but what is down here is far more dangerous than what we've typically had. There are people that are doing things, you don't even realize somebody's coming up on you until they're literally right on you. you're having to, and then you have to defend yourself. You know,
Have you been caught in a situation where you had to do that?
uh, thank God somebody has stepped in for me. One night I was out here and he came up on me fast. I did not see him. He came up with
What
a
time of day
stick.
was what time of day was it?
Oh, it was night. It
What
was
time
night.
of day?
Well, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, because I had lights on. But my friends interceded. That said, I know at least 3 other people since the pandemic who have gotten hit in the face
From with a fist or something, an object?
or whatever. They're going by and the person is swinging something and you're not necessarily paying attention. Maybe you're busy on your cell phone. In one case, they said they were mad and they were walking like this. They really weren't paying attention to their surroundings. And the punch came out of no place. Black eye took them down.
Did they
You
catch the
know,
guy?
that I don't know. I doubt it. No, but please don't do anything right now, Brett.
They don't?
Nothing. No. Every once in a while, they'll come out here on a weekend and start giving some open beverage container tickets. And I guess sometimes they'll give tickets for dogs, but there's no rhyme or reason to it. As a bicyclist, last week I was on over on 4th by Santa Monica Boulevard, and I come up onto the light as it's getting ready to stop, to change. So I stopped, right? I can hear the car coming up behind me. He's not going to stop. And he floors it right through that red light while there's 2 Santa Monica police officers in patrol vehicles sitting right there, and they just let him go. So he went through a
Was this
red
on
light in
Rose and
downtown
was
Santa
this
Monica.
Rose in Maine?
No, but that happens there too.
I saw that. I
That
was in the
light,
car. I
there's
saw you. I saw that happen. I was driving, and I was at the stoplight.
there's a lot. There's a lot. It's bad. So I mean, I don't think anybody. I don't think any of us call the police really anymore.
Wow. I don't. That's a kind of. I don't know where to go from there. Almost, from I'm kind of a little speechless.
Yeah, I just think that there's a lot of problems. Just so you know, I don't think that the homeless people are only ones to be blamed in any of this. Because again, some of this, I'm also mad after the pandemic, really at the homeless provider, the community that's supposed to be providing housing and care and services for the people that out here that are sick.
But
And they're
aren't they
not.
doing that with the triage housing? Aren't they doing that? Isn't there something happening with the tents that are where the old bus station used to be?
Okay, you're talking about the bridges. Okay, this is what happens over at bridges. If you're not compliant with them, they throw you out.
Like meaning you can't do drugs.
Right.
That
But how do you deal with the people that are not going to stop doing drugs? Especially with this housing first, you can't say you have to figure out how to deal with it, because to put them back on the streets, which is what happened at Bridges, is not good for the individual. It's not good for the immediate neighbors, right? Who were fearful of exactly that happening, and now it's happening, and then they get in the uproar.
well,
I
in
mean,
San Francisco, there's a big famous thing that happened in San Francisco. That these people were going to put up all this bridge housing or triage housing in this area in San Francisco, and the the San Francisco like community that was there, they paid them double not to do it.
oh really?
They're like, we'll pay you double not to do it. So and they paid them to not do it.
Well, I mean, I don't know really. I know that the Spy, which is the special place for youth, just opened up recently across from the Whole Foods. And a lot of people fought that one, but it looks really good. That being said, there's an encampment outside that Whole Foods, with RV. Is that you, Claude? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, this
So,
beer. Get her beer. Hopefully, it's beer's coming soon.
well, no, I have cold ones upstairs.
Of course, you're a professional.
I have to, yeah, but I have to ice some cupcakes. Today's a friend of mine's birthday. And since
Oh.
it's a shitty birthday to have.
Well, 9/11. We are doing this right now on 9/11. I haven't posted anything about it. It's like it's
Neither have I.
obvious, like
I put my flag up though.
I know that the whole 9/11 thing. What do you think about that? Inside job?
I don't know. I haven't thought. I just don't understand why we didn't go after Saudi Arabia.
Well, the Saudi they because we kissed their taint as as U.S.
Mhm.
Politics. I don't know why or how Saudi gets away with a quarter of anything that I've
I
heard.
don't understand it either,
We're living on the same planet,
but they do.
and they
Obviously, it's the
people's
oil.
heads off.
It's
They
the
cut
oil
people's
or
heads
the
off.
money. I mean, huh?
They cut people's heads off in the street.
Yes, I know. And took that. What was that reporter that they cut his body up and put him in a
Saji,
suitcase and
yeah, uh,
yeah,
Shaggy or something. I forget.
yeah. I don't know, but
Yeah, that writer. That it's amazing what the power of super wealth will do.
mhm. Which is where we were talking about in Venice originally. Which is, I'll tell you one of the things that annoys me. During the pandemic, everybody talked about how the homeless were taking up, public space and yada yada, right? What gives them the right to live on the sidewalk, right? These are all these arguments.
It gives
And
you know
when I did the census this last time, I had a lot of the houses down in the alphabet streets, right on the beach. And one of the things I realized then is that a lot of them had actually encroached upon the public right of way with their patio, because there's supposed to be a sidewalk that goes all the way down from Washington all the way down to the main channel, right? And if you go down there, you see places where one exists, and then there's a block or two it doesn't exist, right? Those property owners have now built patios out, so they're encroaching upon the public right of way too. They're not paying anybody, but nobody says
it's a
anything.
so I'm gonna do like a myopic thing, like where we see the small and we expand out. Is this situation akin to any other situation that's happening anywhere else on the planet right now?
Oh, I'm sure of that, but I don't know where. I mean, I imagine there are a lot of places, some places maybe even worse. It's just that in America, there's not that many places that can have, I think, this astronomical kind of change. Like I'm from Louisville, there's changes happening there. There's houses in that town, right, that I grew up in, shotgun houses in an area of town that, even a couple of years back you could have got for 100,000 that are now selling for 300,000. And these are, two bedroom, one bath houses, most of them 1,000 square feet for $300,000. So I
Well,
don't think, again, it's not unique here. It's just that there's the dollar value is worth a lot more. Location, location, location.
which goes down to the first thing, people are territorial. This always comes back down to territory. From
Mm-hmm.
the Neanderthals fighting with other Homo sapiens or whatever, those or the other kind of monkey human things that we had back then, fighting over the watering hole. You want to be where the life is, and water means
Mm-hmm.
life, and that is always been the case. Wherever it could be, water could be a metaphor for gold, oil, whatever. It's where it's always going to be turbulent in those areas because there's so many people that want what that has, and that is
Yeah.
not a human thing. It's a geographical or weather oriented thing. The fact
And
that
there's a finite
Hawaii
amount
is
of
the
it.
best fucking weather in the world.
Yeah, it is.
So that's
Which is,
why people come to.
but
Oh, that's our
I
hour.
bet, I guarantee, yeah, I know. Can we go not much longer though? Only
Yep.
because I got to ice these cupcakes.
You can eat a cupcake while you're here. Hold on, let me turn this
No, I
off.
have to ice them. They're upstairs.
Okay, well, Isa, we'll have a hard out in 10 minutes. Give me 10 minutes.
Okay.
Um, um. So what were we talking? Because that was a really good
We're
subject.
talking about homelessness, and
Okay.
that, this is what I think. I think a lot of people are making a lot of money and nobody's getting the help they need. Because I am sad when I see a human being, withering on the street. and then I have to walk over them or walk around them or be fearful of them.
Yeah, that's a big deal, man. We should definitely devote the next 10 minutes talking about this because it's a heavy subject, but it actually needs a lot of detail because it's like, I mean, nobody seems to have answers. It's really, I mean, when I was living on Dudley for all the time, I mean, as an empath or an empathetic person, which I'm sure you are, it's like I was seeing them more than my own reflection, and I knew people that were killed that were homeless on the in various instances, and there were and there is they do get preyed upon by gangs or thugs or kids with skateboards. I seen a
You're
few
freezing.
back, somebody right there on Dudley a while back, and it was not good, and I almost got attacked as well. But so is it the pills? Is this a pill problem? Is this an addiction problem? Is it you're frozen? You there? Oh no, I'm gonna talk to myself. Uh-oh.
I can't. You're.
You'll come back. You there? You'll come back. Do you need to go up to your apartment? Hey,
We're breaking up.
here, go take your computer back to your apartment. We'll do the last 10 minutes from there.
Yeah, I'm here. I mean, you're frozen from me.
Yeah, same, but now I can see you now. See?
Okay. All right.
Good. So with all that being said,
Here.
I mean,
Thank you.
what do you think? Like, what are they like? I know you want to go and ice your cupcakes because that's what people want to do. Ice cakes are delicious. How do you want to? How can we talk about this in a respectful manner and
Thank you. How do I feel?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I know. I mean, this is what I know. Everybody that's out there is homeless is a human being. That being said, I wouldn't invite every one of them into my home because some of them scare me.
Yeah. I get that.
Are we frozen? Oh, what did I do?
That's all good. It'll look like seamless in the edit.
Brett.
I'm here. You're there. You'll be fine.
So I can make it any better.
This is fine. You're on. You're on.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the thing again, though, is, I tell LA has given, what is it? I think $3 billion just try to solve this problem. And I just think a lot of people have made a lot of money, and I don't know very many people that have gotten very good help. I know a few for sure, but I just found out today. Do you remember who this man Angel was that used to be down on the boardwalk?
Angel?
Yeah, white guy.
What was he doing on the boardwalk?
He was down here by he used to play with the band, like with Benny and them in front of the waterfront. He had a brown pit bull named Tilly, and she used to play with a big 5-gallon Arrowhead water jug. Do you remember when the artist did all the black and white paintings of some of the homeless people on the boardwalk, like Panama? Do you know who Panama was?
Yeah.
Okay, so Panama disappeared during the pandemic, and we have never heard or seen from him again. So this is the problem with homelessness for a lot of us. Our friends disappear, and we never are going to know what happened.
He brought, I knew Panama. He disappeared.
Panama was
What's that?
We put posters up. People were calling the hospitals, and just we never found out. But today I got a message from this young man who was on the boardwalk. I don't know if you remember him. His name was Zach. Very talented musician, played guitar a lot, black guy, short dreads. He just texted me a little while ago that Angel died 2 weeks ago. And that they're going to do next week. Is it next week? And next week at the waterfront, there was a documentary made about the boys in the band. And they were going to show it and bring some of the guys. And I thought Angel was supposed to be there, and this other guy, Jacob. So some of it, but the interesting thing is, Angel did die, right? And I heard he lost his feet from diabetes. He wasn't getting very good health. He lost his dog. Yeah, because I saw the person that owned the dog. I was glad to find out the dog was still alive. And then you have Panama, who disappeared. The only one out of that band that I know for sure did okay is this guy Jacob, and the new owners of the waterfront bought him a van so he could go back home. So when we're talking about homelessness, I don't know how to solve this. Probably one person at a time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't really know, because I don't think there's a solution for everybody. And I'm afraid there's a part of me that has a fear. And I've talked to my sister, at some point, there are some people that are so sick that I don't think you can let them make the decision to not get help, because they get vulnerable. I could go on stories like, there's a woman that I've known for years as a homeless woman. Her name is Juliet. She's a roller skater. And I've calmed her down. I've gone out there when she's gone and screaming, and held her in my arms and tried to calm her down. And what was it, 3 weeks ago, she came up to me and she said, I just got raped and they stole my skates. And I'm just, the women are not safe out there. So the very fact that we don't prioritize getting the women tells me that they're really not that interested in helping most people. They're interested if they'll take the help that they're offering, but they're not going to find the help they need. You know what I mean? So when we say this whole thing about housing first, the assumption is that is the problem. But for a lot of people, it really isn't the problem. It's just a symptom of the problem. You know, some of them can't maintain steady housing even if they could pay for it, because they get thrown out of bridges. They don't know how to live. So many people that have been out here a long time, they have post-traumatic stress disorder. They don't know how to live inside anymore. They're used to rats and roaches walking around them, and trying to get an hour of sleep here and there, and I don't know. Huh?
Permanent camping.
Yes, but some of this is not even permanent camping, because when you're camping, you usually get to keep your belongings.
Well, I was trying to glorify it a little bit, I think.
Yeah, well, that's a bad thing. I think that a lot of them come out here thinking it's urban camping. And sure, in the beginning, I'm sure it is urban camping. But then reality is going to set in, and this is not a nice place to be if you don't have a roof over your head.
Well, when you're younger, you can get away with it. But when you start turning 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and you're still on the streets, it's not as pretty as like a 22-year-old being able to, they're just kind of doing the grassroots, like 1969 sort of like hippie thing but that doesn't exist too much anymore because things cost so much money. But people, I know people that are homeless that I've done work with actually, and are very talented, and but want to be, they don't want to pay rent. No judgment at all. I don't want to pay rent either. I'm living in my fucking mom's like fucking laundry mat here in Oregon, and I got a really nice bed, but it's creature comforts. But like, even when I've like visited like Larry Bell in his studio, which actually I'm gonna go on a tangent, and then another artist that's really great, they are all sleeping on mattresses in their studios. So I guess I like that because I'm mostly outside anyways. So I get it. I'm paying very minimal rent, and for what, but I'm gonna spend most of my time outside. I understand that. I like it. I like outside, especially. It's just so. It's the timeline of Venice Beach, the boardwalk itself as an entity. It's an organism, a living, vibrant creature, and I don't know. It's just such a. I feel like people come there for the grit and the the push and pull, but it's like it. Well, the best people. If you can leave and come back and leave and come back, I think it's a really good way to live in general wherever you're at. You can leave and come back. That's why I like to come and go from there because
Really, because I always think I'm missing something when I'm not here.
really.
Yeah, I just sometimes when I when I go to Kentucky, I like it and I'll do things there, but I know I always would rather be here. Again, because I'm like, oh, I'm missing the sunset.
So
I'm
are you
telling you, I'm a little obsessed about that damn sunset.
you're addicted
Yeah,
to the sunset,
truly I am.
and it looks different every night.
To me, it does.
It's so funny because like Venice is like it's like a high school in a weird way because of all the different relationships you have with people. I mean, we both have mutual friends
Uh-huh.
that we have and don't have, and you see the conversations between. And it is a funny place, and I always have Venice in my heart. I don't know if I'd ever be able to afford to live there anymore,
Yeah,
but
I don't know. What I would like to see is a place though where you could have artists come and maybe do residencies or stay for short term. The problem is that just like everything, eventually it's going to become out of most people's that budget. You know,
yeah,
they'll people want it and they'll start charging more to limit the amount of people that apply for it, right? And I don't know. It would be nice though if we could have, places where some artists could just settle in
and
and
I think there have
create.
been many people that have tried to make that happen.
I know.
It's just not sustainable, though. It's not
No,
sustainable.
exactly. It's not.
Art galleries aren't sustainable,
No, I know they're not.
and but like when it comes to like I did have a question. I kind of got lost in what you're saying, but it's like how where do you see that? Okay, let's leap into the future. And I know you want to go ISO's cupcakes. Trust me,
I
I'm
know. I'm
visualizing those
sorry.
cupcakes every 2 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Um, um, what do you see this? Let's go to the future. Let's get our crystal ball. What do you see this happening in the next year, 2 years, 3 years? What does this look like in 4 years, 5 years? You pick.
Well, okay. 2028 is the Olympics here. So
And
let's
we're
just go
in
5
Venice Beach.
years.
They're going to have Olympics in Venice
Well,
Beach.
they're in Los Angeles, and there'll be volleyball. But Venice is a tourist attraction. The Olympics are coming in 5 years.
There's a lot
I
of Saudi
think
money
that in
coming in here. There's gonna be a lot of Saudi money coming in here around 2020 five then. There's already a
yeah,
lot
I mean, yeah, I think that
to
there
show
are
you
already some things in the works that we don't really know about, but I suspect that there's going to be some changes on the boardwalk by 2028.
how
And
so.
I'm interested in how so well, you think about that windward area down by right on Oceanfront Walk. All those businesses are just in shipping containers. Those aren't really permanent structures. And they've been sitting like that for years
Wait, what are you talking about?
at Windward and Oceanfront Walk
Oh,
between Speedway,
okay. I get it. All those shops, all those
all those. So
there's
there, I feel like that's that spot, I think I see a lot of change.
you think they're out? You think the shipping containers are out?
I think they want to build
Ooh,
there.
that would look really pretty,
I
actually.
don't know who owns that. Who
Like those guys have those are that's their livelihood though. Those are their businesses. Those are but boy, if you could take out those containers, man.
Oh, and it doesn't mean that they won't be able to come back. It'll be a mixed use building. Businesses will be
Oh,
on the
dude, if
first
they take those
floor.
containers out of there, they're not gonna let them back. Dude, are you kidding me?
Probably not.
Are you kidding me? They're like, that was easy. Let's get out.
Well, the pandemic helped a lot. I mean, like my friend Patrick Liberty, his business closed after the pandemic. But now he opened up a little like pop up in Titanic over there by the Cadillac.
Yep.
So he has a little pop up there, and he's been doing making T-shirts for people. Like a special event, or he's gifting people. If he thinks that something there's an image that you're gonna like, he makes you a T-shirt and he brings it to you.
That's nice.
Yeah, so he's changed his perspective. That so the pandemic was maybe the end of things in one way, but maybe the beginning of other things for him, you know. So
Hey,
even with any all of this change, huh?
for all of us, I think probably.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah.
been a. I think people are still trying to get used to. I think it rattled so many people, and we're still maybe thinking about maybe what happens if this happens again. That people's communications or their social, like how we interact with each other, not on like a computer, in real life. Um, that's all like people are still like got PTSD from like how to even and they didn't even know how to act you know like a normal person before. So this
No, yeah, no, I don't even know how to act. I find that my temper is shorter sometimes with things too. I see other people like because I do customer service, so I see that they're shorter. You know, like they're getting angry about really. I mean, really? Because you have to wait 3 seconds. You know, you can't. You don't have 3 seconds. You can be rude. So I think that that's the thing that happened is that people got rude, including me.
well, it's a good thing you're not driving a car around town because you would blow your mind would be blown how people treat each other in traffic.
I can't. I see how they are when I'm on a bike, so I can't even. I can't even fathom.
Like some
It's
people
crazy.
are so different with each other in different cars. They would never do that if there were one person ahead of them in a line. They
Yeah,
would react that way.
yeah.
Gosh, I know you want to go with cupcake. This cupcake thing is, but I want to get every little searing question. So you say that the tankers are going to go away for the Olympics.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some changes on Oceanfront Walk. Some buildings are going to be built.
Do you think they'll ever put um uh what I almost did when I was living on Dudley? I had a kamikaze mission I was going to do where I was going to lay a strip of concrete across Speedway, and like so people wouldn't just jam through Speedway at like 80 miles an hour and make little bumpers. Do you think that's ever going to be happening, like where they put little bumpers between on Speedway, like little?
You know, I don't know. They tried something with putting these lines on Speedway, and all it really did was confuse people. So,
You've
yeah,
already
I don't know.
used enough
I
with
don't
the.
know if they can get rid. I don't see how, Speedway, I don't, and I'm happy to get rid of roads, just so you know.
Yeah, you dig that shit.
But Speedway, I just don't see how they can get around it. They have to have it as a road.
But like speed bumps.
Yeah, they should do something.
No, like they really should. Like it's a
Well, they
like
put them on Pacific, you know that, right?
Pacific.
Yeah. Between Maine and the beach, there's Pacific that turns into Ocean Avenue.
Yeah,
They put speed bumps on there.
good.
And they put parking at night. So now you can overnight park on the curbside on both sides to try to help slow that traffic down.
Yeah, I think the Speedway that thing needs to have at least like little 2 inch by 2 inch little bumpers on there.
Yeah, it would be helpful.
That would be
But
so like
there's,
oh, I'm sorry.
I want to go on. I was just going to say there's some other roads too. Venice Boulevard is a very fast road.
Well, not just Venice Boulevard, but like oh yeah. Nah, but it's good because you can keep on driving and see the
You know it has a
ocean.
speed limit, right?
What, Venice Boulevard?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, of course it has a speed limit.
35 or 40 miles an hour.
Yeah, I'm a good driver. I always drive the speed limit.
Yeah, you do.
I'm the best driver in LA. I'm the best driver anywhere. I've been driving since I was 14 years old. Um, so, um, Doctor Beth, Allyn, I just called. I've been a doctor in there just because you taught me. You treated. This is giving me all my Venice info. Um, is there anything about Venice Beach that you would like people to know that we haven't already talked about?
I just, sometimes these, magic is very special. You really can't control it. You have to just enjoy it, appreciate it, don't try to change it. Um, and just, sit back and enjoy it. Enjoy Venice. This is a gem. This is such a gem. I don't even, so many people just see it as the beach. It's a cool place. But we're like we were talking about that whole culture. Something very special happens here. Something special does, and it really should be um, appreciated and encouraged.
Respected maybe too. Because
Yeah.
I remember living on the Walkway Street, and there's such a volume of people that come. I just spit, but I just come into Venice from all over the world. They come there, they eat their food, they're pissing, and all that plumbing has got to be top notch, or something is gonna some retrofitting, because there's so many people pissing and shitting and eating and drinking and making music and then they leave.
Well, they've just redid on Speedway, just so you know. Actually, our part of our, I think our water lines, sewer lines, are out in Speedway. They just did some upgrade last year.
Good.
Worked the whole Speedway. I think from my end here at Navy, I think they went down to past roads, but I think the goal is to do the whole Speedway. So they are upgrading the sewer line.
Good. Do you know anything about the tunnel system underneath Venice?
I've heard about it. I've never seen it. Todd Altair has seen it, though, he says.
Yeah, I talked to him a little bit about it. I was going to try to get on the phone.
I've never seen it, though.
So underneath Venice Beach, there's a line because of
right
built
that goes to the townhouse.
Yeah.
Right. They were bringing alcohol in during Prohibition, amongst other things, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure there are tons of different things that we don't even know about.
All right, you're gonna let me go?
Yeah, I'll let you go, I guess.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
All right. Well, Beth Allyn, thank you so much. We did it. Now
okay.
I don't have to ever bug you ever again.
You can bug me anytime, you know.
All right,
well, good luck to you, though. I mean, the nice painting behind you, is that what you're working on right now?
No, that's an older one. I did that like maybe 2 years ago that I just pulled out of a location. But it's an oil on canvas, like a psychedelic landscape sort of situation. It's for sale.
Yeah, I have that smaller one that I bought a few years ago that I hang. And I have I haven't put I have one of your buffaloes. I don't even know. I have so much art. I don't even know where to put. I mean,
it's not a bad thing to have too much art.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, you got
I'll use it. I just don't have it all up right now. I actually took stuff down because I felt overwhelmed. Because I actually believe everybody should have their own gallery, right? Yeah. You know, I actually think that every Venetian should be buying art, should be paying for hearing their musicians play, or go to their theater, go to Beyond Baroque, you know, go watch poetry readings over at Beyond Baroque. But yeah, for me, I got inspired by a friend of mine who was an artist to really buy, and then I just started buying. You know, if I liked it at all, you know, if it sung to me in any way, it was like, I'll take it.
Well, there's a lot of good stuff happening over there too. There's a lot of good things, and it won't ever be recreated ever again.
So yeah, they're treasures. I love treasures.
Like, you know, when the old Popeye cartoon where Wimpy is like all the food they're having a food fight and all the food's going over top of the head, and he grabs a thing of ketchup, grabs a burger, grabs a bun. You know, there's essential things at you, and he maybe. But you know what might be an interesting situation is like if you take down all your artwork and then put it back up again, like
I did that.
Range it.
I absolutely did that last year, and because I thought some things were getting lost, that you couldn't, because it was so much, you know, that you really couldn't take a step back and go, wow, that's a nice piece, you know.
Yeah, it's also feng shui. You got to move it up for yourself, though. You got to move it around you're there all the time. So, you know, look at it, and the architecture of your place is so cool. You know, just like let it breathe for a second, because it is a lot of energy, and you've been looking at it for a while. Change it up, and maybe, you know, even simplify. Put fewer pieces up. Know that those your catalog. You don't have to display. It's an organic situation, I think. But I love the fact that you have
I agree.
That special little place.
But tell everybody to get their own gallery.
Yes, and you can start by buying my artwork at brettwoods.com or brettwoods22.
Exactly. Brett's work. Exactly. Everybody should own at least 2 pieces, maybe 3.
I'd like to see that happen. I sold pieces when I was in LA, but to make the rent in Hollywood at the place I was staying at, I was just because I was in such a survival. It's like I was like,
Yeah.
I made a catalog of work to but I was like selling stuff at a quarter of the price, and that's why
Right.
back up here I was like, I was depleted, I was exhausted about hold on, I can't spend 3 months on a painting and sell it for $100.
No.
I can't do that. I don't want to do that. And so I had
You shouldn't.
that's why I could be in LA right now if I wanted to, but I just don't want to do that. I have to change it up, and maybe recalibrate and all that stuff. Thanks for talking to me about Venice. This has been fun. I've learned a lot. I wish we'll have to do another one sometime.
Whenever.
And
maybe we'll do it with a group. Huh?
That'd be fun to have a couple people on here.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Falcone on here.
I just got his signature in the Venice stories. It was so funny.
I know.
Yeah,
I've talked to him a few times I've talked about him a few times. His name's been raised a few times on this podcast. Jerry Falcone.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
She just had her 70th birthday.
What's that?
Susie turned 70.
Oh shit! I need to wish her a happy birthday.
Send her a message.
I will absolutely. Susie Williams, the illustrious, the talented, the glamorous.
Talented. Yeah.
All
right. All right, my friend. It's almost 5:30.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll tag you in this post. I'll send you a message. Thank you, Beth, Allyn,
it's okay.
For being on the
podcast. You
can
call me an alien.
Beth Allyn.
Beth Allyn.
From Venice Beach, California. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the future, right?
Okay.
Toodles.
Bye.
Enjoy your company. Enjoy your company.
I will. I'll send a picture to you.
Please, that you said. I'll put that in the edit.
Okay.
So this is cupcake episode with Beth Allyn.
Okay, I'll send it. Okay.
All
right. Bye, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye. You're welcome.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That was Beth Allyn, longtime Venice Beach resident. This is my 114th episode of Brets with Friends. Enjoy your day. Eat something good. Tell people you love them. Don't tell me. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. Cheers. Thanks for watching. Brentwoods2 on Instagram. Brentwoods.com. Buy my art. I'll leave you this little ending I made.
He talks to people about stuff. He's the podcast man.